Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Fronti.
With us with some of the best professionals we can find in all of Santa Cruz, and we have one of them here today that we love having our show. They are great, great shows. He has his own plethora of YouTube videos, and we brought back on Myles McNamara with Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Hello,
Welcome
guys.
back, buddy.
Well, thank you. Good to be back.
You do have a lot of videos yourself, right?
Yeah, YouTube videos, educational, most frequently asked questions, because, home care is kind of a hard thing to wrap your head around sometimes.
Well, that's why we bring you here.
Yeah.
Well, little by little, I think it's an industry that really is kind of similar to the mortgage industry many years ago in that didn't have, people weren't getting good advice. Right, and in our industry, we saw what the cost of that was. We almost brought the world economic system down to its knees. So,
literally,
yeah. So as boomers are getting older, it's important that we start to, guide people in a better direction so they make better decisions and don't just depend on my uncle said this and my cousin said that.
So I was going to say the operative word in that last statement was good advice, or accurate or truthful advice. Everybody's got an opinion, but the advice out there that's flying around a lot of times is, where the heck did you hear that? And a lot of things too, and the whole financial planning aspect of seniors, and and that's a whole different show. As far as annuities versus other investments for them. The thing that irritates me the most is when I see a financial planner tell a 75, 80-year-old senior that let's invest in this 10-year annuity. And then they can't even touch that money for 10 years without, horrific penalties and fees and such. But
they got paid.
Truth be told, that's the highest commission-based action for a financial planner is an annuity. So there's a lot of bad advice out there, that are taking our seniors for a ride, and it's very frustrating.
Well, I love that you're always reaching out to educate, as we are, because neither of us get paid for doing radio, but you also have your own radio show, Aging with Power.
Right.
Educating as many of our Santa Cruz residents and beyond with great advice.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, and it's not really funny, but, like we get a bad rap in the reverse mortgage space. Listen, some guys should get a bad rap. It's not for everybody. Right. That product is not for everyone, just like no mortgage product is for anyone. It's unfortunate that we lost all this mortgage product that we used to have. Hey, negative amortization loans are fantastic for the right person. Interest-only loans are fantastic for the right person. It's when a certain group of people start giving it to everybody, then it causes a problem because it's not a good fit. But we've definitely, we know of a few people that it saved their lives to be able to use a reverse mortgage. There was no way.
Interest only, saved their home.
Interest only.
And the reverse mortgage is bucking such a bad reputation because it was bad
years
ago.
I think they're good.
Designed.
I mean, right now we've saved a lot of elderly, I guess, their homes because they're stuck. But they have a ton of equity, but they don't want to move from their home. But the reverse mortgage allowed them to stay in their home with no mortgage.
Absolutely.
Now, it's interesting because I don't look, people say, I look at it as taking your money back. Little by little, you're taking your money back. So depending on the circumstances, it could be a very elaborate interest-only loan. Nobody says you can't make a payment. Mm-hmm. You could make a payment, you could make a payment on a reverse mortgage. What most people don't, but you can. So you can keep that balance right where it's at.
Right.
You can keep that balance right where it's at, or you could use the more common one that's being used now is the adjustable rate one, which is a nice equity line that fluctuates. So, look, for the right person, it's a great product. I'm sure there's other products out there, like you said. An annuity might be the right thing for the right person, and that's where you need true professionals that learn to ask all the right questions to make sure it's a good fit.
All right, let's touch on something, talking about working with true professionals. We've had you on the show quite a few times, and one of the concerns you had, and in fair warning of a lot of our listeners, a lot of you out there that are trying to decide what to do in regard to in-home care, is that it wasn't even regulated. No. You warned a lot of us out there saying, hey, be careful.
Right, and that's huge, And as of January 1st, the Home Care Consumer Protection Act was passed, basically licensure for the home care industry. As you guys well know, and I've said in the past that anybody could have just thrown a shingle on their door and say, hey, we do home care, and there was no way to vet these companies or organizations. There's no oversight. So as of January 1st, the Consumer Protection Act was passed, and as of July 1st, it's mandatory now that nobody can provide home care services unless they've been issued a license. We're now referred to as an HCO, which is home care organization. And so anybody who is licensed has to have that publicly displayed at their place of business. Your HCO number, or now your licensure number, is public knowledge. You have to be able, show that you're licensed. And then the California Department of Social Services is the oversight of a newly formed Home Care Services Bureau. So, every home care organization needs to be licensed, or you cannot provide services in the home of seniors or any adult, for whatever reason they need home care.
So I may take us down a tangent here, but how does this relate to IHSS? Because we've seen IHSS explode over the last decade.
What do you mean explode?
Just the amount of people. I mean, I see it because of loan applications, right? I mean, when 10 years ago, Don, were you getting IHSS income as one of your sources of income?
Of course not.
No, and now I see it every single day, right? So.
Well, speaking of tangents, I mean, don't get me off on a political conversation, but in IHSS, in Home Supportive Services, it's a state-ran home care company, if you will.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
It's basically ran by the state of California. It's income-based qualifications, so you can't have X amount of income. But what's frustrating for me as a home care company owner is a lot of regulations that have come down the pike in the last couple of years, like the overtime exemption that was removed for home care workers, the deduction of sleep time at night. The IHSS program are exempt. I mean, for example, last year there was a mandatory sick leave act passed for all home care companies had to provide X amount of days of sick leave. Well, Governor Brown then said, exempted the home care company of the IHSS by saying, we did some research and that's just too expensive. We can't do. Well, duh.
I could have told you that.
So private enterprise has to.
So, it's, again, passing these laws that apply to some but not all. There's got to be some constitutionality there, but, a lot of times the IHSS program is exempt from the laws and regulations that come down that affect the people who are trying to run private home care companies. But again, that's a whole different show.
Well, the reason I asked is because we have a client right now who last year was an IHSS provider for multiple individuals, and this year is no longer, although he still provides IHSS for those individuals, he now does it through an agency, and that agency pays him for night sleep time and overtime and those other things that he wasn't getting as IHSS provider, and they've now somehow taken on these IHSS clients to the agency. And it's the first time I've seen that, so I'm not sure. And they said it was due to the new regulations that were passed.
Well, I'm not aware of that. I'm not sure of the above board aspect. I mean, I know I as a third party agency, I am not paid by IHSS. I cannot be paid by IHSS. Okay. IHSS does not subcontract third party agencies.
Got it.
So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but as far as I know, IHSS is you become an IHSS worker, you join their union. And then you fill out a timesheet for who you're working with, and you submit that timesheet, and that's how you are paid. So I'm not sure how they would have given that to an agency, because I get called a lot where, we have IHSS, but we want to use you. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, you can't use me. You can bring us in to supplement what you're being awarded by the IHSS.
Which is necessary a lot of times.
Exactly. But they will not pay me on behalf of someone else.
All right, interesting topic. So, when we come back, let's talk about aging options.
Okay, and maybe wrap a bow around the licensing. There's some other issues I want to address as far as our home care aid. Now, caregivers are referred to as home care aides and the registry and that type of stuff.
All right, well, we got the man that knows all this stuff that's going to give you great advice regarding elder care these days. And when we come back to the Don Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.